Hi everyone, Comic Review here. This time reviewing on South Park the movie. Now, I think a lot of us remember what South Park the movie was. It was one of the biggest things to come out in the big pictures. The same with Beavis and Butthead, also The Simpsons, and so on. Now, if you have watched the season 1 episode Death, it did kind of foreshadow the events of the film. Now, the premise of the film is mainly about Cartman, Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Ike, who go and see the new Terrence and Phillip movie, and after basically learning new swear words, this draws the attention of the school, Kyle's mum and the parents, where they start a one-man crusade to go against Terrence and Phillip, and it starts to get really blown out of proportion, and things go a bit too far. Now, I think somewhere the movie does have an important moral saying, don't take things too far, and don't blame another person or another country for your own faults. And don't go looking for someone else to blame. Now, what's interesting is that, while Carl's mum has good intentions, I would say that she's a bit like Mr. Enter or Phantom Strider. She wants to believe that she's making things a better place, even though she's doing this more for herself. And somewhere the film does have a good sense, does do a good job in portraying censorship, also like how parent groups will have something against something, and so on. What's interesting is that there are story arcs inside this movie. Like, for Kyle is to stand up to his mum, and to finally put his foot down. Cartman getting a V-chip planted into him by Kyle's mum as a way to get back at him for swearing and singing a song about her. And anytime he says a swear word, it ends up with him getting shocked. Stan trying to find out how to get Wendy to like him, and competing for her affections against a boy called Gregory, who tries to come off as this really great, and if not, guy who sees that he's the best. And Kenny, who gets sent to hell, and sees that Saddam Hussein is emotionally abusive, controlling, and if not manipulative to the devil, and Kenny tries to make Satan see that Saddam is just using Satan to get what he wants. Now, what do I think about the movie? It does so well in portraying so many things, and you realise that, yeah, Carl's mum is doing the right things for the wrong reasons. Well, I think she does come off as a bit of a monster and a hypocrite, given the fact that her own son, Ike, who's adopted, is also Canadian. She also comes off as believing that she wants to do what is right. It's kind of like watching Berserk with Griffith, or mainly watching Gundam with Patrick Zola. Even though they mean well, their intentions come off more for themselves than for anything else. What's also great about South Park the movie is the fact it has a beautiful soundtrack and stuff that makes you want to come back to it again and again. I think what also makes South Park the movie interesting is also how that when season 21 came, the episode made a reference to where Kyle goes up against Canada as a reference to South Park the movie. So history does repeat itself again. I have to admit, South Park the movie is definitely good, and it deserves a lot of praise for keeping it still great. I think what makes South Park the movie great is that it still keeps to the animation, even though it looks a bit more updated, and it still does well. So it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Review here, signing out.